What a privilege to spend that time with Stedman Graham. A lifetime of achievement, of accomplishment, and yet he is not slowing down. If anything, he is doing more than he's ever done before. What was really interesting was him describing the whole life process as a journey, that it began with low self-esteem as a child, but through the influences of people in the community, whether it was members of the church, teachers, coaches, people that saw potential in him and believed in him, and he eventually developed the thought that he could actually be somebody. He used the phrase self-actualizing so many times, which really means maximizing our potentials, our abilities, and our gifts. And over the course of his life, Stedman has been doing that. When we asked about the brick wall, which is such an important question for everyone because we all face them, he said, well, there's really two things. You've got to never quit. And what gives you the confidence to do that is when you believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, you know what your identity is, and you don't do that by measuring yourself against things on the outside. It's got to be done by introspection and looking at what's on the inside. Then you know it defines you. He used the phrase, it is the core of who you are. When the core is solid and we face that brick wall, then we just never quit. We keep moving toward it. And we move in some direction at all. And he mentioned that, just keep moving, just keep moving. Then things begin to take shape in a way that can help us get there. He asked himself the question, how organized can I be in 24 hours? Then how organized can I be in the next 24 hours? And putting all those together is what leads to a lifelong achievement pathway that he has developed for himself and obviously is sharing in such an important way with so many others. Without being overly critical of the current educational system, he puts the responsibility on each of us as individuals to keep learning, that we have to have that vision to see beyond ourselves and really figure out what's possible and then go on a process. He used the phrase process many times, that it starts with the vision of who we're meant to be, and then what's possible comes from that. The skills we need to get, and that our educational path should always be self-directed so that we're continually learning and not depending on somebody else from the outside. I was struck particularly when I asked him, so what do you do? What would you say to really encourage somebody that's not firing on all cylinders, that's really down on their luck? He said, well, it starts with love. It starts with love. That was a great way to phrase it, because that has a lot to do with transforming the power of the negative into the positive. And it has to start with self-love, that when we realize, hey, I'm okay, I'm a person, I'm a real person, I'm a unique individual, then loving ourselves enough that we can get into motion and do some things. He said partly when we get that love going properly, that self-love, we start to focus on the things that we can do, not the things we can't do. And that lets us change that mindset, and continuous change in that mindset and keep moving forward. Those are the things that make a big difference. In his 9-step formula for success, the pathway for success, he talks about values, and the values are things like hard work, consistency, integrity, honesty, and the people that live according to those values never get stale, and they never get to a point where they feel like they've arrived and it's all done and nothing else to be achieved, because that is a process of continuously moving throughout life. He's very focused on self-development. When I asked him about starting the day, he said, I focus on reading, continuing to learn, because if we don't lead ourselves first, there's no way we can lead other people. Organizing the things that are important in life, and realize that if we get stuck in old habits, we're going to end up with the same things we've always had. I was impressed when he gave the example of a typical life. Get up, go to work, come home, take care of the kids, watch some TV, go to bed, the next day repeat. And that unless people make a conscious decision that they're going to get more out of their day than that, then it's going to be years of that accumulating, and the old habits will become so entrenched that they'll then become much harder to change. So don't get stuck there. Be willing to grow. Looking all around us, there are opportunities that we've never had before, but they're rarely going to be handed to us. And so Stedman's message of self-reliance, but at the same time, using those gifts and talents in the service of others. He used the powerful phrase servant leadership, because that's what truly makes a difference in other people's lives. And when people focus on being a servant to others, helping them get the most out of their life, then that's the difference making that will continue and never, ever stop. I'm looking forward to seeing his book, Identity Leadership, and spending time in it, because I think it's a fantastic set of concepts that he works with. And the 9 steps on the pathway for success, definitely important for something all of us to take on board. So this was a privilege to be with Stedman Graham today, and a privilege to be with all of you, our listeners. So on behalf of the Action Catalyst, this is Dan Moore. Looking forward to next time with you. Thanks.